Bullying has been an ongoing problem that has detrimental impacts on the physical and emotional well-being of students, both inside and away from the classroom environment. I chose to focus my Design for Change assignment on cyberbullying because there are many times where I have been targeted over the media, which could have been prevented sooner if I knew effective ways to cope with the issue. In the past, school boards have dealt with the issue of bullying using a punitive approach. However, this prevention method can make the situation much worse than it already is by putting the bully in a self-defeating position. Teachers need to separate the behavior from the student. It's a matter of teaching right from wrong and teaching them proper behavior, rather than labeling them a criminal. Currently, school boards try to encourage pro-social behavior instead, which are actions intended to help others without expecting any type of reward in return. By moving away from strict actions, teachers and parents act as role models for their children to resolve conflicts in a non-threatening and peaceful way. It is important to recognize the signs of cyberbullying by analyzing emotional state of students. Does a student seem depressed? Withdrawn? Are their grades suddenly dropping? Hang out in the hallways and lunchroom to look for changes in relationships, such as a student cast out from their usual lunch table. In order to prevent cyberbullying without fully restricting your child to technology, I think that parents play a vital role in monitoring the sites children visit or the accounts they create. Therefore, I would encourage parents to get involved in their child's internet usage by opening an account wherever your child has an account. This will make it easier to supervise the content your child is viewing or posting on their profile. Additionally, it is essential that parents initially keep a record of their child's passwords in order to have access to their account. Parents should make it a habit to check in weekly on their child's Facebook page or other social media pages to ensure their child is not misusing technology or being abused by others. In this way, parents should be able to use their own judgment and decide when their children are mature enough to use technology without constantly being supervised. I conducted my first interview on one of my close peers, who works alongside me as a lead tutor at Green Timbers Elementary School in Surrey. She interpreted bullying as something that stems from racism, sexism, or ableism in school communities, which is a point that I never took into consideration. Furthermore, she also described an anti-bullying initiative that took place at one of the schools she volunteered for, where the school encouraged students to write kind messages to their peers and post it on a public board. Finally, she sent me a few articles that expressed how cyberbullying is portrayed differently in the media, where some mainstream news channels place less emphasis on marginalized individuals. Furthermore, I also interviewed my assistant teacher at Immaculate Conception Elementary School in Delta. This teacher believes that cyberbullying is a topic that should be addressed in schools to ensure that kids are taught right from wrong and to be empathetic. Moreover, she goes into detail about how her school participates in Pink Shirt Bullying Awareness Day and how the students participate in a program called The Gift from God, where students are taught to stick up for themselves and learn the differences between right and wrong behaviors. The last interview I conducted was on my second grade teacher, who is an elementary teacher I worked alongside with at Immaculate Conception School. When asked what type of activity she would like to be implemented, she mentioned how there should be guest speakers that occasionally visit the school and talk about the various kinds of bullying and the methods to prevent it. She also provided advice to victims of cyberbullying, where she described that it is the victim's responsibility to let it go. In other words, she emphasized that one should always talk to trustworthy companions, such as family or friends, rather than keeping the problem to themselves. Overall, all three participants agree that there has not been a considerable amount of effort placed into constructing programs that emphasize the harmful impacts of cyberbullying on students. For instance, the assistant teacher mentioned that she would like to see a professional program that is structured in a way where educators have something to follow. Therefore, teachers would be able to enforce the same rules and adhere to the same boundaries. Finally, all three teachers stressed that victims of cyberbullying should connect with a trusted adult that can help, and continue to consult with adults until the situation is resolved. Overall, there is still much to be learned about bullying, particularly about the effectiveness of specific intervention components. For instance, something that some classroom teachers appear to be lacking is the ability to carry out and implement the bullying practices they have adopted. Instead, educators can improve by creating dialogue, participating in role-play scenarios, and by fostering learning environments where everyone has the opportunity to express themselves without feeling intimidated or excluded. Students need to be in an environment where they can freely discover their identities, thereby contributing to a caring school culture where bullying is less likely to occur. If I were going to continue working in this area, I would develop my resource further by incorporating my website into the educational curriculum. Just as high school students are required to take career planning courses in order to graduate, I think it would be a good idea to consider making cyberbullying a required course, where students have to work through the website until they are familiar with the effects of bullying.